Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host, Matt Marrero, along with the other host,
Tristan Walter.
Yes, and today we are talking about the Hellsing OVAs, the Ultimate OVAs, Hellsing Ultimate OVAs. OVAs
Feels
Ultimate.
good to get out of the coffin once in a while and come and talk to you.
Yeah, just stretch out your legs, you know?
Yeah. Lovely moon
Yeah,
tonight.
so this
It's
went from like
it's raining.
vampire. What? I didn't hear what you said. What'd you say?
I said it's a lovely moon tonight, isn't it? And I'm like, no, it's not. It's raining.
Yeah, right. It's terrible. And on Inauguration Day, no less. We're filming this a day before.
Yeah. Anyway,
what I want to say is that this went very like vampire to Third Reichy real quick.
well, I mean, you know, it's funny. I kind of understand why they chose, well, not to color anything the wrong way, like they chose Nazis as the villains because absolutely nobody cares what you do to Nazis. No matter how gruesome their deaths are, it's always like, nah, like good on you, do it up. Let's do this.
I'd argue that a certain section of the country. I'm kidding. Yeah, no, that's definitely true. No, you're definitely right. I mean, we said the same thing when we did on Friday Night Movies. We did an Indiana Jones podcast, and we're just like, Nazis are always the best villains.
Yeah,
because what are you going? Yeah,
you can't go any lower than that. You can have them do whatever evil deed that you want, and no one's gonna care because they're evil.
Yeah. No, it's perfect. No, it is. They are the best villains, and
especially with Alucard, because
mm-hmm.
he just rips asunder through everything in his path. So, yeah.
And vampires versus Nazis, which ones are more undead? Because both are still around. Which ones are more undead?
Damn it!
You think they're dead and they come back from the brink? No, because there's so much movie and cinema like I mean even Call of Duty they got zombie Nazis.
True.
And mind you that was a while ago when they got zombie Nazis, but they still like everything is just like, well, what's the best? It's like zombies and Nazis is the easiest thing to just shoot and kill, right? Like in one of these anime and in one, or like television shows or whatever it is, right? The easiest things to bring up, because you are correct. Like when you look at Nazis, especially Nazis like this, they're just talking about how much we love war and all this stuff and, just killing indiscriminately and not caring who they send into line of fire. Yeah, very easy villains. Also ties into Hellsing the Dawn, which was a prequel that I believe was being written while this part of the manga was coming out, and Hellsing the Dawn actually followed a young Walter in the war that they talk about in the second OVA. So it's, I think these OVAs are very interesting because, of course, many of you guys, I hope in late 2016 heard us talk about the first 13 episodes, the only 13 episodes of Hellsing. And I got to admit, just like many anime before it, many anime now, and many anime after it, which now would technically be after, but just like many anime, right? You will have these not terrible adaptations. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. Terrible in the sense that they weren't correctly adapted, right? You have these terrible adaptations, and what will end up happening is you'll never come back to it again. And sometimes the show gets picked up. You had Brotherhood happen. You've had a bunch of other, you had some other, you had Inuyasha the Final Act. It's not as if they won't happen. And I'm sure one day we'll get a Bleach one, right? It's not as if they'll never happen, but it's hard, because there are some shows people tell me, man, I really don't like the way they adapted X show. And if it wasn't really, really popular, like one of those shows, you're not going to... sorry, it's probably not going to happen. And Hellsing went on, Hellsing went on hiatus for a bit. So, like the manga. So it looked like we were never going to get something like this.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, I believe it was actually 06. So it didn't take as long as some other ones have, but it was just in 06 where they're just like, hey, look at what we're going to do. Yeah. '06, which isn't that long, arguably. Again, because like only 4 years because Hellsing ended in '02. So it could have been longer, I have to admit. But even then, I felt like this was a shock, at least to some Americans, because while we love like Hellsing, while a lot of people love Hellsing, I don't know about everyone else out there, but I truly feel like in America it didn't hit the same way some other anime and manga at the time hit.
Yeah.
Where having the rebuild movies for Evangelion makes sense because Ava was huge here.
Right.
Right? Having, of course in Japan as well, duh, but like here, because, the Japanese market matters, but obviously here as well. But the fact that we got Hellsing, I was like, wow, like I never realized Hellsing was such a big deal. I liked it. I never realized it was that big of a thing, both in Japan and in America.
Right.
So it was really cool that it came out, and, we were getting, even with the death of Genion, it looked like we weren't going to get any more dub. People were freaking out, especially because, this was very, I guess, unusual in its release schedule because, obviously Tristan and I have done OVAs in the past. Tristan, you've watched OVAs, right? But I can't think of OVAs on this scale, like, going on from literally for, 6 years.
Yeah.
Like, it feels unique to me. Now, again, not like they haven't released OVAs in the past. Again, I know that they have, mostly in the 80s and 90s, but, before, late night anime really took off. But still, the OVAs, there'd be 6 of them, but I don't believe there would be, there would be 6 of them, but, these are, 12 OVAs, right? Scattered into a 6-year, 10 OVAs, scattered into, a 6-year gap. That's crazy to me. That, they kept on going, and they're still, they were picked up, I think Funimation picked it up after Genion died, and it's just, kept the same voice cast, of course, but still picked it up for distribution. It's crazy to me, man. This exists, and a lot of companies came together to have to make this happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, somebody must have enjoyed it somewhere for them to keep it going for so long and actually have it finish.
Yeah, many people. Right?
Yeah.
Not just in Japan, but again, America too.
Right.
A lot of different. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying Funimation had anything to do with the, with the production in Japan, of course, because sometimes Funimation or other companies will, where it looks like Adult Swim will be funding the Fooly Cooly anime, like the Japanese production.
Yeah.
But the newer one. But it doesn't mean just because, so I'm not saying Funimation is doing a Dimension W kind of thing with this, but it's still crazy to think that Funimation was like, oh yeah, of course this is popular. Let's spend the money to, obtain a license and try to release it, because it's just crazy. It just could have not happened, right? It's somewhere we could have been sitting here going, all right, it's very interesting how there was no dub past a certain point, but no. Right. Even though they came out a few years later, in Japan it came out in 2012. Not so much 2006 to 2012. Not so much in America. In America we had a bit of a gap where originally, right, they were pretty much either in the same year or only 6 months later, and everything was going fine right up until after the 4th one. And everyone was like, okay, so it's dead. We're all dead. Everything's dead.
Right. Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, right, with the 5th one, it took, I took 4 years, and then so it came out in 2008 in Japan. In America, it came out in 2012. And then from there,
wow.
We got 4 of them in one package, which freaked everyone out because we got 5 to 8 in one box set, and I remember everyone freaking fuck out. And then another 2-year gap, but then we got 9 and 10 in the same box set, and then everyone was like, "Oh my God, it's done!" Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, but just talking about the first 3, because we're on my first 3. I want to ask you, Tristan, did you like these stories in the in the original adaptation better in the first 13, or do you like them here? Regardless of whether or not one is a better adaptation, did you like them better here or in the original adaptation?
I mean, it's kind of funny. It's because I had originally seen Ultimate on I want to say it was Toonami at this point again. Toonami's run.
Yes.
And I saw bits and pieces. and I really liked what I saw. So when we went back and did the first adaptation of Hellsing, it seemed a little lackluster in places, but now going back and watching Ultimate again and having the other adaptation to compare it to, like, there are bits and pieces that I like how one did over the other. So it's funny. I guess I'd probably save the overall judgment till after we finish with Ultimate, but like I'd probably still like Ultimate better, I guess, as an adaptation. There are still pieces of the first one that I prefer.
Well, it's interesting because I want to say that's very reminiscent of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, where even it's funny, although because I remember the manga for FMA from what I've read, and it was very fleshed out. So Brotherhood really did rush over certain plot points because they knew that they already got through it in the original. However,
Right.
this, when I look at OVAs 1 and 2, they actually weren't as rushed as you'd think, because in the manga it wasn't fleshed out like the original manga for Hellsing. Like, I'll lend you a copy if I can when next time you come over to film some of our Let's Plays that we have over on our Let's Play channel. Those guys play over on YouTube. Man, Matt's good. Anyway, so transition skills like Alucard skills. Shoot me and I'll still start talking. I'll keep talking about the things that we do. Literally shoot me right in the head, and it's just like, oh, yes? Well, you can also find our podcasts over at Those Guys on the Radio on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Anyway.
If anyone in the audience is questioning that, I've tried. I've tried everything. I can't stop him. He's the closest thing to immortal that I've ever found.
When it comes to promoting our
Yes.
merchandise and our podcast and everything.
Yes. If it weren't anything else, you're just as mortal as the rest of us. But promoting the podcast,
correct.
yes. And everything else,
Yeah. So it's so sad because like someone out there is laughing, and you and I are just like, no, we think it's true. So it's but they didn't actually skip anything. And what I mean by that is,
right.
I believe they may have skipped at least like one chapter in some way or another, or like condensed it. But when you look at the chapters, like from what I've read thus far, and I believe I've read about 2 volumes, it's just that the first chapters, they didn't have a lot to them because they're only 30 pages long, and they just tell you one story. It'd be like, oh yeah, no, this like serial killer couple is just there chilling, and then Alucard has to kill them. And then one of them's running in a field, and then, Ceres shoots him, and that's that. Shoots her, and that's that. Where in the anime, the original adaptation, they had to stretch that into an entire 20-minute episode. So they're just like, oh, no, but then she's running in a tunnel. Oh, and Ferguson's there, too, for some reason, even though he doesn't exist.
Right.
So, they just added so much. I mean, heck, I would argue that in OVA 3, right, the scene with the mercenaries that they hire, the mercenaries that, no spoilers here, just being very, being honest, but no spoilers, they are a major part of the show from here on out, right? In the original anime adaptation, they actually fucked it up completely because they just introduced random assholes who didn't even have anything to say, and one of the guys was a traitor.
Right, yeah.
So, how would you have came back from that? Sir Integra, I thought that it would be great to get even more mercenaries. More mercenaries?
Right. Yeah.
The last fucking batch you got weren't great. So, yeah. So, the way they made the way they were setting up the show with the original, frankly, this remake, was definitely needed.
Yeah.
I'll say that much, and I know you agree.
Well,
it was needed because
Oh, yeah. That's one of the things that I agree with. That Ultimate kind of gives. Remember how I said about the first adaptation that it felt like there were, I had felt like there were pieces that I was missing, like little bits of background that I thought would have been nice. Ultimate kind of gives you that, not a lot, but just a little bit. Oh yeah, hey, these guys are from here, or, when they introduce something, when they introduce something new, they give you a little blurb about it first, and then they keep going, kind of thing.
Yes, despite the fact that it's just the fact that the town's name was Cheddar is weird. I have to admit, I believe that when we first saw the first episode of Hellsing, it literally was just oh, yes, in some town somewhere. Cool.
Yeah.
Off the coast of whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. Also,
Right.
by the way, well, it seems like I will admit, the one thing I have to say, and I know what you're going to say that you liked more from the original adaptation, I really liked the church scene from the original adaptation.
Yes.
It's just sad, though, because it never happened. It happened the exact way Ultimate did it.
Yeah.
Where they were,
just
kind of out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was very, dramatic, and also just Alucard just, describing his weapon.
Right. And like you said, they had to do that to, that's another thing they would have to do to make a 20-minute episode.
Yeah, out of a 30-page chapter. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, I love that they still kept the voodoo in OVA too, by the way, the voodoo murder. I was like, fucking, what I love so much, though, is they're like, they sat back and they're like, all right, actually, let's fix people because that was spelled wrong. But they keep voodoo.
Right.
And I was like, fucking yes. By the way, how did you feel about Jan doing the Konami code?
Oh, Jesus, that I
had
to
realize
double
that's what
take
he did.
That.
He shot them, and he's like,
right.
up, down, left, right. Death by Konami, bitches. And I'm like,
I heard him. Oh, Jesus, I can't believe I missed that. I know he did. I know he said Konami at the end of it, and I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. But I didn't catch the way he was shooting them all because I don't know. I wasn't paying attention fully at that moment. Mm-hmm. And then and then I hear him say Konami. I'm like, what the hell? What are you talking about? Did I miss?
But you're
something?
like, whatever. This dude.
Yes.
This dude's an No, because you're like, this dude's an asshole.
So.
I don't give a shit.
Right. Oh God.
Yeah, no. His exact quote is "Death by Konami." I believe he said the B word right after. But I fucking love him so much. Death by Konami. I was like, that's so like him.
You almost said one of his other lines right there.
I'm pretty sure. No, I'm pretty sure that was what's it called? I'm pretty sure that was an ad lib by the English dub, I believe, because a while ago I had seen the a very long time ago I saw the what's it called? Oh God, what am I looking for? I saw the one of the because the English dub I had the DVD at the time, and one of the tracks on it was the director's commentary, and this was the English dub commentary. So I believe they were talking about how the Konami code, that line was ad-libbed. But what I do remember, and I mentioned this a little bit in the Hellsing podcast that we did, the original adaptation. Fucking when they were recording the lines, this is in OVA 2 when Alucard has the fucking Cerberus arm, right?
Yeah.
The scream that it makes, apparently, they were like, all right, we need something for this scream. Because, of course they have to make their own sound effects for the English dub. And they're like, we need something for the scream. And I just cannot believe they actually still did this. They were like, oh, well, we need something. And they came in. The next day, one of the sound director guys came in, and he just had clips of babies crying. And they were all like, so we didn't ask any questions. We asked 0 questions. And apparently they took those clips of babies crying, and they inverted them and changed the pitch a little bit. And that's what they got to make the Cerberus roar.
Right.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
But yeah, so overall, it's funny. The first 2 OVAs, I have to admit, and this is not because I didn't like them, but it's very hard for me to pay attention to them because I've seen them so many times. Because the thing is I've seen the first 13, so you get bits of it from there, a lot. I've shown it to different people as well. We've seen it for the show. I've seen the first 13 way too much. When it comes to the first few OVAs, at one point in my life, I saw them normally. Then another point, I was trying to catch up with them. I'm going to make sure to watch them, all of them. And then I didn't. Right. And then I saw them on Toonami as well. So overall, I've seen these first 3 OVAs a lot. The first 2 more. So in doing them for the podcast, I'm like, yeah, sure. But I didn't want to do only the first 2 because I didn't want us to not tread into any new territory. Because the third one was completely new territory.
Right.
Yeah. Like, it was very interesting how they were able to wrap up so much in just 2 OVAs, where in the freaking anime, the original adaptation, it was like after they got Jan and John, it was kind of like, oh, what are we gonna do next?
Mm.
No, because literally I thought the anime felt after that. They were just really slow, and they were just making up their own shit. And it kind of, I mean, I'm sure they didn't have much on Millennium at the time, but then they were just like, yeah, we're not going to work with Millennium. Maybe next season that'll never get made.
Right.
Yeah. But one thing that was different in the first one that I definitely want to point out to you, and you can tell me whether or not, like, how you feel about this, because I'm interested. They took, I believe her backstory wasn't in, like, the first chapter. Her being Integra, her backstory was, like, a chapter or 2 later, yes, but it wasn't in the first chapter. Like, the first few minutes, right, if it was going directly from the manga, literally just started off with, you know, the whole town, and kind of her just saying, like, hey, this town is infested, and, yeah. Right. And then it had Alucard with Ceres and Vampire Bro, who was, like, the priest, who was just really weird.
Yeah.
He was weird in both versions, but I think he might have been a little bit more weirder here.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, like, even compared to the manga, I think he was just weirder here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, actually, what I do want to ask you about is, so you were talking to me before the show and saying that you thought Ceres was more of a comic relief. Do you not like that, or do you, like, how do you feel about that?
Oh, it's funny, because going off of what you said, how you've seen, you know, the first few, a lot of times, when I saw Ultimate, it was kind of already halfway through. They were already dealing with Millennium. So
she was a main character again.
Yeah. So that's why. So I guess I kind of take back a little bit about what I said the first adaptation about Ceres, where, like, she got to do a few cool things, but she didn't have, like, a really cool fight like she does at the end of Ultimate. And
but this makes sense, you know? Yeah.
Yes. So now seeing her now in Ultimate, it's like, yeah, she's pretty comic relief at the beginning, and only later does she get that bigger part. So yeah, it's weird, because I feel like in the first adaptation, she's a bit more withdrawn, I suppose. She's not as bubbly.
Mhm.
And it kind of makes sense, because she's still dealing with the fact of, well, I still feel like a human, but I'm technically not human anymore, and she has to struggle with that.
Yes, which I think is a great struggle.
Oh, yeah, and she still does it here, but I don't know. It feels like for Ultimate, they're like, let's make everything else so over the top that we need her little bits to be comic relief, because holy crap, we need a break. Kind of thing.
Yes, and that's the thing with his art style. The original creator, he would make everything, you know, like, obviously, as you know, Hirano would make everything very, like, dark, but then when it came to some panels with Ceres, and you can actually see them in the manga, or even some other people too, like, you know, you'll have just some, you know, like, certain panels that'll be very funny.
Right.
And, yeah, and they do it just so that they could, you know, like, again, just differentiate, like, okay, let's calm down for a second. The problem is that we got an adaptation where they didn't do that, so, you know, the original one. So because of that original adaptation, we then have a Ceres who is pretty, you know, determined and strong, and not that she's not strong here, but she's strong in a way, like, she's brooding because of, you know, her loss of life, because, again, they have to fill up time.
Right.
So they end up doing certain things that I think make us look at least originally, in the first, you know, 2 OVAs, make us look at Ceres and make us look at Integra a bit differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where once the series really picks up, like 3 and onward, and even 2, arguably, looking at Ceres' bloody, you know, fight with the ghouls,
True.
we really start to go, oh, damn. Like, oh, damn.
Right. Or I love how when even the mercenaries come in and, you know, the leader is like, you know, oh, you want proof? Here's a real vampire. It's like, hi. And he's like, you've got to be shitting me, right? And then she just starts flicking him in the face, and his face is drenched in blood. And he's like, what the fuck just happened?
I love it so much, yes.
And then Alucard, just, you know, not to be shown up, just comes through the wall, and everyone's like, all right, we get it. Please don't fucking kill us.
We're good. Oh, by the way, so here's something interesting.
Damn it.
So here's something very interesting. So that bounty hunter, by the way, well, not the bounty hunter, I'm sorry, the mercenaries, right? So the lead mercenary, the one with the, I don't know, it's the French accent. It's supposed to be a French accent.
I believe it's supposed to be French, yes.
Do you know who it is?
Don't tell me. No, it can't be.
No. It's not Johnny Young Bosch. But you're close.
No, I feel like I'm wrong, but I was going to say the same voice actor they got for Salza, but...
No.
Okay.
He's not actually French.
Oh, okay.
Were you thinking I was just trying to mess with you and be like, guess what? No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
He sounds familiar, but I'm not sure, no.
Yuri Lowenthal.
Okay.
Do you not know who that is?
I want to say I should, but...
his whole clan died. His whole clan died, and he's very emo, and he's the last one of his clan, and damn it, he's going to get Naruto one day.
Oh, no.
That's Sasuke.
Oh, no.
Also,
now, that's funny.
Whoa, fuck you. Yuri Lowenthal's great.
Well, no, I love him. You said Sasuke, that's why it put me down. But
okay.
No, I love him.
And then, by the way, yeah. And if anyone doesn't know, like, maybe you're like, okay, I kind of know that, but, like, what else? He's been Jinosuke in Afro Samurai. He was Suzaku in Code Geass. He was Simon in Gurren Lagann. Also, he apparently was Alucard in Castlevania. I don't know what Castlevania, though. It's just, like, the newest, like, the newer weird one that no one liked. I don't know.
Not sure.
I wouldn't know either. But yeah, and he's also Yosuke Hanamura in Persona 4. Persona. Yeah. Also, he's been in Ben 10. Like, he was like Ben. He was like the main one. He was the 10 guy. He's a big one.
Yes. No, I do love his work. He is a great
right.
artist.
I forgot that he was Keigo in Bleach.
Okay.
Because Keigo barely showed up, and
even
like
Bleach
there was some
Keigo.
filler. Well, no, yeah, because there was some filler about him, but like even then, then like there was so much filler that wasn't about him.
Even Kubo forgot about Keigo.
Keigo was fun. He was a fun dude.
Yeah. It's too bad Ichigo always socked him in the face.
Yeah. Apparently there is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles short film called Pizza Friday where he is Leonardo. Who fucking knew? I didn't.
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, he's been in many films, many Naruto films as well. And so, yeah, so obviously it's like, all right, that's Yuri Lowenthal. And I'm thinking, Alexander, they pretty much got a lot of people back. They got Crispin Freeman for Alucard, Katie Gray for Ceres, who, it's interesting, people did not like her adaptation of Ceres, like her voice for Ceres in this one. And I have to disagree completely. I think they're just mixing up her, like, what she had to do versus what, like, in other words, in my opinion, they didn't like what she had to do, not what she did.
Right.
So in other words, I think they didn't like that she had to be, like, chibi, over the top, anime girl. But that's not her fault.
No.
So in my opinion, because here's the thing, I think she did very well with that. It's just that I can understand you not liking it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in that opinion as well, but no, I wouldn't blame the voice actress for that. Like, that's how they told her to play the character. That's not her fault.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying people are. I just don't think they're realizing it because if you're saying, oh, she was better in the first one, I highly disagree. Not that I'm saying she was terrible in the first one, but she has a lot more range or a lot more room to have range because you were like, she's so brooding in the first one.
But
so now,
it's funny, for me, looking in on it, it makes sense that she would be like that, though.
Oh, no, it does. But I'm just saying that, like, she didn't have much range other than being like, Master.
Yeah,
Master,
she's very
I don't
monotone
want
all the
to
time.
drink
And
this
as an actor,
blood,
you want to show
Master.
that you can put on a little bit more range than that. Yeah, like, I get that.
Oh,
but,
no, Master. Like, that's
okay.
that's like her entire role in, like, season 1. No, because, like, that's all I can think of. Where now it's just like, now it's just like, I don't want to sleep in that coffin. Well, what did you think you'd be sleeping in? Like, or just fucking Alucard, just like, you made the choice, police girl. Right? Crispin Freeman plays this role very differently than I think he did originally. Where now he's a lot more, I feel like he's a lot more smooth depending on, maybe because he has more lines, arguably, because, like the OVAs, you have a lot more lines than you would in the show. He seems a lot smoother. Like, he doesn't seem as deep as originally. Like he was originally. Because originally I can think, like when I think of Crispin Freeman doing Alucard, I think of him as very deep, And this one he's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm smooth.
Okay.
Like smooth, but not just like deep.
Right.
Oh, you know who is different, by the way? Both voice actors for, for John and Luke. I said John and Jan last time. For John or Jan, whichever, and Luke, they got the same 2 voice actors back. But they sound pretty different. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually going to say to you about Jan, like he does sound different. It's funny, he sounds close enough. More. Oh yeah, no, definitely. He just sounds a bit higher pitched, I think.
Yeah. It's Luke that confuses me because Patrick Seitz sounds a lot different. And because again, the original one was a lot more of his like Germany voice without the German accent. Where in this one he's higher. And by the way, I think we've talked about Patrick Seitz a lot and how I enjoy him. Not only has he been like Germany and like Italia, and he's been obviously he's been Luke Valentine in both adaptations of Hellsing. He was Dio Brando in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, another show that we did for Anna Saturday. Actually just last week, not even last year.
Right.
So he has a lot of different roles that I really enjoy, but I want to find a few. Matt, which ones do you like? Well, he was Kenpachi, apparently. Holy shit. Sorry, that one took me by surprise. I was like, he was Kenpachi. Oh, shit, right.
Oh, shit.
He was Kenpachi. Right. No, because I believe he took over for someone else who was Kenpachi, I think.
Right. Yes.
I think it was something like that. Because someone retired in English, and they were like, I'm not going to be... Oh, he's Frankie. In One Piece.
Yes, that too. Right.
Right. Duh. Fucking duh. Sorry, I don't know much about... Oh, he was Sloth in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I don't believe he was original Sloth.
No, I don't believe so either.
Doesn't seem like he was. But, so a lot of roles that I think many of you can be like, oh, wow... In Dead Man Wonderland, he was Kiyosama Senji. Of course you know who Kiyomasa Senji was. How do you know? Because you know fucking Patrick Seitz's voice. And you're like, I think Patrick Seitz is Kiyomasa Senji. That's just my take on it. But yeah, so he is I really do like his work. And so when you hear his voice, in my opinion, it kind of sticks out. But because I guess maybe because of a lot of him being in Italia so much and me loving that, a while ago. I haven't really kept up with it, but just loving his Germany. And then I hear him not being Germany, but I still hear that deep voice, which he had in the original Hellsing adaptation, but not so much in this one, as I mentioned earlier. I want to see who else may have appeared. Yeah, even Enrico Maxwell appeared again. And if you don't remember him, Tristan, they did do the scene in the art gallery in the original adaptation. It just didn't get as violent or as Japanese touristy.
Yes. I mean, they still made the same joke, but they went like over the top with the joke in Ultimate. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're like, we can now.
Right.
Because I definitely feel like in some ways they were very restricted with the first one because of what was out at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And now, because now when this came out, obviously the manga had been going out for a while. All of this stuff had already been out for a while. Not just the first 2 volumes, but first 2 volumes, because that's technically what got adapted. But even more than that. So you got to sit back and the fact that it went on till '08, the manga. So at this point, it's literally '08. So they have literally nothing stopping them from doing whatever the heck they want to with these OVAs. Because imagine that, right? Having no restrictions whatsoever. Yeah, just being like, I'm sorry, my bad. These came out in '06, so there was still some restrictions, of course. But by the time the fourth one came out, the whole shebang was done.
Right.
So, and of course, I'm sure they talked to the author like, hey, so like, what's gonna happen here? Right. So, like, I assume they wouldn't just be doing the first two, and they're like, actually, by the way, just want to let you know, John comes back to life and is a major character. Like, no, like, I assume, like, they'd know, like, all right, so as we're making this, oh, this is happening here, cool.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. But yeah, so I want you to mention, you told me before we get in the podcast, that there was one thing about Integra that you liked more in the original adaptation than you did here. So would you be able to explain that to me?
Yeah. So the scene, I know you had said a bit about the scene too, where Jan has come in, and it was before, or no, it was after they'd already dealt with him. The ghouls, more ghouls start coming in, and it's, of course, the men that were protecting the Hellsing building. So it's their own soldiers, and Integra's kind of like, what the fuck did you do? Like, you don't get to use my own men against me. What the hell is this? But obviously, Saris kind of just takes care of that after, well, a little bit questionable attack, but takes care of that, and Integra kind of goes up to her like, okay, Saris, that's enough. Like, you've thoroughly eviscerated them. They were our men. Please stop.
Yes.
I like that.
So you didn't like that?
And, well,
okay, sorry.
I like that bit in the sense that she's like, Saris, no, stop. These were our men. Don't just tear through them randomly. Like, please take them out quickly and respectfully. And that's why when the board member comes up and hands Integra the pistol and says to Walter, no, you will not take care of them, she will, because she's the commanding officer here, and she let this happen, which is, I mean, yeah, it's her responsibility, but it wasn't necessarily her fault, but yeah, that's just how that kind of thing turns out. The fact is that somebody else had to hand her the gun and say, look, you need to do this because you're the commanding officer. In the original adaptation, I'm pretty sure, if I remember it correctly, she already had the gun, and she says, Saris, no, you have to hit them through the heart or the head. These were our men. Show them at least some dignity. They didn't choose this. And she goes around and gives each one of them the final blow that isn't already gone. That is what I liked. Like, I like that she's the one who immediately came up and said, no, these are my men. It's my responsibility. I will do this. Not the other way around and somebody saying it to her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I understand that, right? And it sucks because arguably this is the way it happened then, like in the manga. Because I get you though. I understand you completely.
I mean,
because it does change the tone a little bit.
Right. In a way, I suppose this is trying to show that she's still growing in the sense of the leader position. And, that's fine, but...
And what it also shows you, too, what's very important, is that she still will make amends and take, even if it's not her fault, she still will take responsibility for it. Because, because I even told you pre-podcast, I'm like, wait, did you expect her to be like, nah, bro? And you said, no. You just like that she took responsibility without having to be told the first time. But even then, right, you can tell that, she's... Because here's the thing, too, right? You're right. Like, she's growing in a leader position. That's something that you don't really get in the original, because in the original, it just seems like it's fuck-up after fuck-up. Here, it is arguably and it's not a fuck-up, it's a trap.
Right. Also,
the fact that we can see that, you're right, she is young, she is still learning, and then in the third OVA, it's like, you know what, fuck this. How dare you question my
My resolve,
you know,
right, exactly.
My resolve, yeah. And
that's
Alucard
another
is just
thing we
fucking...
also get. Like, we get a little more background on Iscariot when they first come in. Because in the first one, when Alexander just busts in, it's kind of like, the fuck is that? The fuck is he? The fuck is he doing?
Well, yeah, they mention Iscariot, but you don't know much about them. So, like, you're just like, okay, and? Who?
Oh,
what?
Okay.
Like,
right.
yeah, like
so
all we're told
in
is
here,
just
when
like,
they give a little background, it's like, we're the, arm of the Vatican. We've been doing this for a lot longer, those Protestant peoples, doing their own little thing. It's like, we're not going to tolerate that. And it's like, oh. So then in OVA 3, when they're held up in South America, I mean, technically that was Millennium setting that up. But the Vatican was like, oh, maybe they'll kill each other and we won't have to worry about it anymore. Like, all of
you
that
just made
kind
some
of
people
more...
very happy. Like, yes, the villains are millennials. Anyway,
oh God,
we're the true villains, Tristan. Millennials.
Well, that's the other
thing. Watch out for millennials. Oh, by the way, John, he's a millennial. Just makes sense. Watch out for the millennials.
Shut up.
He's the most millennial motherfucker there.
Millennial. One
hipster.
slip. One slip.
Sorry, you just made the puzzle fit in my head just from that one slip. Like all the puzzle piece. That was the one missing piece.
Okay.
I'm
glad I cleared things up for you, Matt.
Fucking lazy millennials. Instead of getting their job done, they'll just turn to dust. Fucking millennials.
You realize...
I'm so sorry.
Anyway.
Correct.
Shut up.
We're lazy.
Anyway.
We're lazy.
Oh my
God! Such young, lazy
I'm
entrepreneurs.
going to end you. I'm going to end you harder than Alucard ended the card-wielding guy.
I'm not making you laugh. I'm not trying to, be rude. It's just literally you made everything better.
I know.
Please
this
go on.
Is my joke. This is my joke in turn, though. I'm going to end you.
Okay, fair enough. Whenever you're ready.
Then I guess you're just dog food.
But I guess that makes you dog shit. When I heard that, I was like, Alucard got even edgier somehow.
Yeah, right?
But please go on, because I want to say something, but I know I've already cut you off, so please say what you had to say.
No, what I meant to say was I like that Ultimate kind of not gives stuff away, but tells you that even aside from Iscariot, that, Hellsing has enemies in the background that are being, Millennium being what they are. It's like they're not ready to come out into the light yet, but there's another organization, out to get everyone, basically. And they kind of allude to that. It's not just they didn't do it necessarily badly in the other adaptation, because Walter, still talks about, all the shit that we had to go through, through the centuries with your father, and crap, World War II was pretty heavy, and it's like, wait, why did you mention World War II? No reason.
Right, because if you never actually get Millennium, it just fucking seems like Grandpa's talking about the war.
Right, where in this case, it's like, no, that's very significant.
I like the foreshadowing, because even if you don't know what the fuck's going on, where, why is there a random German dude at the end of the first OVA? Right. Again, at the time, the manga had been out for long enough that they knew where they were going.
Right.
So it just made sense to do that. And again, you'll know soon enough, right? Because they didn't take that long between releasing the second one, and then, of course, the fucking third one came along, and it's just like, I like Vor, and you're like, holy shit, what the fuck?
Right.
You're like, oh god, this dude's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
This dude's nuts.
And I love the fact that Integra kind of just, she puts it together in her head, exactly who the group is. Well, not exactly who the group is, but she pretty much got it. When Walter
because they mention they do mention Millennium
about it. Yeah.
In the first one, John even mentions it. He does mention Millennium. It's just that again, it goes nowhere. And then at the the last fucking card, it's just like Millennium went back to their home planet, and you're like, thanks, guys.
Right. Yeah.
That's how it felt. It was just like the fight for Millennium to see who Millennium is still continues, and it's just like,
right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Right? But, yeah.
Oh, and I don't know if this was also ad-libbed like Konami code, but the joke about the Millennium Falcon, like when they're trying to, we've also found several groups, in Europe and Asia and also in the United States, and one of the followings is, based around a movie. It's like, a movie? Yes, Star Wars. The ship. It's Han Solo's ship, the Millennium Falcon.
The Millennium Falcon.
So Walter, you're basically telling me we don't know jack shit. In so many words, yes.
Oh my God!
Shitting me.
I know, it was a lovely line. You could have watched it in Japanese to check, Tristan.
Okay, right. That's true.
So thanks for bringing that up on the show. Now we can't do it because we'll mention it on the next episode when we do. Well, the next time we do 4 to 6, which should be the next 3 that we're doing. Although we will keep people updated if not, but I'm pretty sure we're going to try and do 4 to 6. It depends on how much information is in all 3, but I'm pretty sure it just gets into like big fights and not so much like talk. Yeah, I'm pretty sure anyway, because I haven't seen them in a while, but I'm pretty sure after this we get less explaining. Unless it's the major, we get less explaining and more fighting because it's a law, and it's like, holy shit. Oh, I love the ending credits for the OVAs because they do this in later ones as well. They are just explaining what's coming next, really. So they're like, it's like that they're previews, but they're even better than that because they just, I don't know, they have a really nice way of foreshadowing what's coming up next. Where I know, like, again, like, usually animes will have previews, and yeah, it makes sense. Oh, yeah, anime with its preview. But it's like, fuck the preview. Let's just not give you, like, the next time on Hellsing. Like, I prefer it this way. Like,
yeah,
give me a long
I definitely
credit
enjoyed these too. Yeah.
Because some of it was, you're going to see this later, but some of it was stuff that you'll never see. Where, like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, you're going to see the Major and Nazis, and, you're going to see these guys in the next OVA who are the mercenaries. But, people, but, like, when it comes to, like, the funeral and stuff like that, where they're just, like, standing near their fallen men and shit like that, you're never going to see that other than... in a
flashback or something, or in the end credit
we're not going to
scene.
see it at all. Yeah. You don't see it in the credit scene. You're not going to see it later. Like I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong, but I know it didn't show up in the third one. But I'm pretty sure you're not going to see certain scenes like this ever. They're just going to be here in this after credit scene, which is why I was very happy that Toonami aired the after credit scenes.
Right. Yeah.
Because I wondered why. I was like, why are you airing these credits? And then I was like, wait a minute. It's like there's things there. There's things.
Yeah.
It's like those things. So then I would like rewind and have to watch it. Yeah, I would have to rewind and watch it. But yeah, Yuri Lowenthal, despite the fact that you can tell that it's a fake French accent, in my opinion, it was still like I love this character and I love his enthusiasm when playing him.
Yeah.
Like I really even though I'll sit there and I'll be like I'm not a big fan of the accent, I really do like his presentation. And someone else whose accent it is real, but whose accent I feel weird about his general acting. His accent's real, but his acting I feel weird about is the guy that plays Anderson. Not so much in the first 3 OVAs I realized he actually wasn't that bad as I thought. It's in later OVAs that for some reason I'm like, you took a hit, what happened? Maybe because of the long gap, like in the English dub, because obviously remember there was a 4-year gap out of nowhere.
Right.
So if some of these people weren't continuing with work, like you look at some people, and I don't know how the later OVAs turned out. To be fair, I don't remember too much of them right now. I'm not going to spoil anything. But when it comes from an acting perspective, you got guys like Crispin Freeman, Yuri Lowenthal. Obviously, they're going to sound great. You know what I mean? Like, there was a 4-year gap. They didn't just sit there and be like, man, I need my next Hellsing job. They just kept on going. I don't know about the guy that plays Anderson. And, heck, I don't even know about KT, the one who played Saris. So that might be people complaining. Maybe they complain more about the later OVAs, and I didn't know about that because we're busy watching the first few, and we're like, she's really good. But I have to admit, not sure what might happen later. Right, because that 4-year gap, for some of them that don't do voice work continuously, that may be a problem.
True.
Like, I know it's a longer gap, but like when I watch Full House, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think there's a problem with Bob Saget as Danny Tanner. And then I watch Fuller House, and I'm like, what? Why? Why is he saying the lines that way? Why are there no pauses? But acting.
Right.
What is acting? Have you seen Fuller House?
I have not actually seen it, but I know of the premise. So yeah, I've heard what you're saying.
Yes, the house was fuller. So anyway, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. It's like I've heard of the premise. Like, I don't know why it sticks to you. Like Dragon Ball Z. Have you seen it? No, but I've heard the premise. Yes, Dragon's Balls. Cool. So, moving on. I'm sorry. But yes, I thought it was very interesting having Integra kind of come in and even having Alucard pop out because, yeah, these people are being hired to protect him while he sleeps. And they kind of seem like assholes. Not all of them, because Yuri Lowenthal, and he has a core group of people that he really does trust. And I know he trusts all of them, but, like, he doesn't hate, like, he's not a bad character, and neither are, like, all of them there, right? He has a core that, like, you get to really meet and grow with. But they do kind of seem like assholes because they're just like, hey, we know about our shooting guns thing and killing people that way. Other than that, this monster thing is bullshit. Now, I'm not saying that I believe in monsters immediately, but they definitely have this, like, frat bro mentality of just, like, 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 whatever. Like, again, I'm not saying that I would believe them immediately, but I'd be like, are you guys seriously? But, like, it got, like, really bad where, like, you really needed to have Ceres poke him to death. Seriously, one poke and he's bleeding from nearly every orifice.
Yeah.
Like, it's hilarious. Just, like, literally one poke. Because it wasn't even, like, the third. The third just knocked him back and really hurt him. But the first one, and I'm like, dude, you okay, bro? You okay, man? But, you know what's really funny? When Alucard came through the fucking wall, do you want to know what the first thing was that I heard? Like, in my head?
What?
No, it's a magic trick. Smoke and mirrors. Like, I'm really shocked that no one went Hercule, and they were all like, yeah, it seems pretty legit.
Right. Okay.
Have you seen British magicians?
Yeah. Oh, God.
All of you should be very wary. But
it's funny. I thought you were gonna go for Ryuk Death Note, just like, hey, Light, what's going on?
Just give the man an apple. Oh God. My God. But yes. Oh, and by the way, I want to mention, right? So, like, yes, Integra, she has been doing this for a while. So saying that, like, oh, it's her growing into the role, I even mentioned it in the original. I'm not the biggest fan of that concept because, like, she has been doing this for a while, arguably since she was a kid. I'm sure someone else may have been helping her, but, like, she's been doing this since she was a kid, potentially, because her fucking uncle is a piece of shit. So he didn't help her.
Well, I'm sure Walter has been guiding her this whole time, but I would probably also say they haven't dealt with something on this scale yet with her.
That too. Yes, I'll give you that as well. The reason why I bring it up, though, is because of the fact that, I do like that, even though I will say that, right, I do like how, I think I didn't get to really say the full thought because we were just, we were just going off in a good way. But I like that in this OVA series versus the original adaptation. Remember, in the original adaptation, it just felt like screw up after screw up, fuck up after this and this. And even, and here I mentioned, there was a trap in OVA 3. I did say that much. But I do like that it feels like, like it went right into, okay, now we really have to all go into war and fight. Instead of, like the way the original anime, they just kind of made it seem like just a screw-up after like it was just like the downfall of the Hellsing organization.
Right.
And here it's just like, hey, some bad stuff is happening, but it's because of, like, it's the downfall of the world, arguably, like, as the show goes on and as the fight gets harder. It's the downfall, arguably, of the world. I'm not saying any spoilers. I'm saying, like, you could argue that if you wish. I wouldn't.
Right.
But you could. Versus, like, in Hellsing, it just felt like, in the original, adaptation, it felt more like, yeah, no, Hellsing's fucked, but everything else was great. And it's like, wait, aren't there like fake vampires going around and stuff? Yeah, no, I mean it's bad, but like it's only affecting Hellsing. Really? Fake vampires only affecting Hellsing? Nowhere else in the world or in Europe are these fake vampires causing a problem? Nah, just Hellsing. That's it. It's just the downfall of Hellsing. Everything else is A-okay. Like nothing ever happened. Like that's how it comes off to me, the original.
Right. Yeah.
Where here, I'm like, yeah, I like this. You know, I like that it seems like it's more global. And it's funny. I know, like, you introduced Iscariot in the last one, too. You still had Anderson and stuff like that, right? But, like, without including Millennial and making it, like, bringing Germany into this and just general, like, Nazis, World War II, it just felt small in a way. The world felt very small.
Yeah,
and
I get what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, and I like that it feels like they're definitely expanding it and it's getting larger. We don't know much about it yet, of course, with only 3 OVAs, but it is getting larger, and I enjoy that.
Right.
Another thing I want to mention too is, obviously, it's funny. Obviously, the animation was better in these 3 OVAs than they were in the original anime.
Holy crap!
No, I mean that's a no shit. That's a no shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I would
like
argue,
to make a note of that. The animation was pretty beautiful.
But I would like to argue, though, that it was lacking. It was just, it was, in a way, it was normal at the time. Like, I would argue the original anime was not normal at the time. I think I originally said, yes, it was Digipaint, but I would argue that it was very minimal in its background to try and make it eerie feel, but it was still super-duper minimal, right? To the point where, it wasn't, like, the best. Here, however, I would argue that it's just normal for the time, but because of, like, not only the difference in animation, it makes it look like it's so much better, right? From but even then, though, there are just certain things, the way certain people move, and not even as a joke, right? Just the way certain people move and the way certain things look, like in comparison, like some of the 3D backgrounds.
Right.
I would argue that there are some problems even with this adaptation as well. Like, I think it really hits its stride in later OVAs, where it's just like, it's fucking beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it feels like a fine wine. You're like, holy shit, I love this. Where I'm not saying I hated it in this, but you can tell that, like, in some ways when it's like, certain characters, it's like, oh yeah, this is like gorgeous. Right? Like, you didn't realize it was made in 2006. You're just like, oh, it's gorgeous. Then other frames, other way people moved, or other background stuff, like if, characters in the background or certain characters that are talking, you'll sit there and you'll be like, man, this was made in 2006.
Right.
Right? Like, it's, like, and it's not the comedy. Like, I don't want to sit there and say that it's the comedy because, that's a style choice. Like, Sarah sliding in or having certain characters, like, turn essentially like 2D, like Paper Mario, where they just spin. No, because it happened with Maxwell and with his, like, the person with him, as a joke. So I don't want to sit here and call out the comedy aspects, like when, heck, even looking at all the old people, the Japanese people, the Japanese tourist group.
Yeah.
They were all meant to be a joke. So I'm not going to sit there and be like, their faces they didn't look good. Like, no, it's obvious. But, like, there's just some things that they definitely skimped out on, which I think they don't later on. Although, again, I could be wrong here. But I'm pretty sure, like, as the show goes on, because of how many years it even took, again, 6 years to make this, the money and the animation techniques get better and better as it goes on.
Right.
Yeah. And a higher quality, in my opinion, of the animation. One thing about the Japanese people, though, I don't know if you noticed this. So, in I think in the original, and like after, like in next episode scenes, they would have some people come up and look like zombies, and they even had Saris have that dream in the 3rd OVA, right? With I forgot his name, but he's like a dead old famous person. Like an old famous figure, and he was just like, oh, like, and they kind of have some of them look and move around like they're zombies. I love that they did that animation technique for the older Japanese people. Like, I don't know if you noticed it. They just looked like they were legit zombies. Like, they were the ghouls.
Yeah.
And I laughed very, very hard. Because you can see the reflection of Alucard's gun, and I'm like, this is hilarious. They're zombies. These old people are zombies.
This was the real enemy the entire time.
The elderly.
Millennium said, no, it's a trap. You'd never expect them. They're just cute old people here to visit the museum. But they're really good.
Oh, no. Who would send old people as a threat even though they're so kind and cute? The evil team Millennial. Oh.
Well, yeah.
Completely different directions here. I'm like millennials. You're like Nazis. Some people, I don't see the difference. Shut up, you. Shut up, you.
Oh God.
But anywho, yeah, I have to admit I really like them slowly showing the Major because I'm pretty sure he did have some random like cameos before he actually like was a big threat in the manga. I'm pretty sure, but I don't think he had this many. But I'm pretty sure he had a few from what I remember reading. But yeah, I don't know. I really enjoy, like you said, I really enjoy them taking the time to describe a lot of things. Where I know, like it went over your head in the first adaptation, where it was like, "Are you pure?" and you didn't realize, like, wait a minute, pure is synonymous for virgin.
Right. Well, this time they kind of beat you over the head with it, so it was like, "All right, guys, I get it."
Are you a virgin? Yes! Get shot.
Yeah, I fucking made a note of that. It's like, are you... Exactly, that whole line, it's like, gets shot. It's like, wow, that was abrupt. Okay.
That's a video I'm not showing to my Catholic school students.
Oh, jeez.
That's something you do not play during abstinence class.
Oh, God. Oh.
That's something you do not play during abstinence class.
To
be fair, I don't think we have an abstinence class. I'm a speech and debate coach. We don't teach them abstinence. We teach them how to fucking speak, and debate.
To be fair, I don't think this would be a series that they would show in a Catholic school either.
Well, yes. I mean, I love it. Just no. I fucking love it. Just Iscariot.
No, you're just like, no, like Iscariot, like they totally approve this. What are you talking about?
What I think is funnier is Alucard just, you Judas priest. Listen, sister, I understand why you might have some problems. I get it. But please understand. No, okay, yeah, she's burning the DVD, and now she's praying to God.
Yep.
All right, like. I think the sisters did not enjoy this. Did not enjoy this DVD series.
Good job, Matt.
Maybe they'll like Elfen Lied better. There's no Catholic priest references in there. They might like Elfen Lied better. They'll love Neon Genesis Evangelion. Kill the angels with technology.
Okay.
I'm sure they'll like that one better. Fucking shit. Literally, it's like, what about Sonic? Is he an abomination? I mean, his character design, maybe, if you look at it from, like, a Jesus point of view.
Oh, no.
I love Sonic, okay? It's just, like, I wonder how, like, extremely, like, old school religious people, it'd be like, this is Sonic the Hedgehog. Did God make that? Probably not.
Right. Oh, jeez.
Oh, my God. Anyway. Oh, the fucking scene where not Alucard. Alucard with a wig that resembles my hair Alucard. Although I don't think it's a wig. I think it's just his hair down. When he fucking tells that guy, who I believe that guy was Yuri Lowenthal, just without the French accent. I'm not even kidding. I believe that was him. He's like, sir, you have some certain luggage that I don't know if we could. No, it's fine. Well, we're just not insured if it's fine. I'm gonna call my superiors. Like, I loved it.
He's just like, don't make me eat you. Excuse me? Like, all right, hypnotism it is.
one episode they have a Star Wars reference. The next episode he's just like, "This is not the coffin you're looking for."
Right?
This is not the coffin I'm looking for.
Oh no. Oh no.
I didn't kill you later. You didn't kill me later.
Oh jeez. Oh. Oh.
No, because they think he and Saris killed everyone in that fucking hotel. And that's fucking sad when you think about it, too.
No,
like, they all just had to fucking die just because of a fucking trap. Random-ass people in a hotel all had to fucking die just because of a fucking trap.
Well, that was even the power of that scene. Oh, that was the one, I loved quite a few lines, but the one with Walter and Integra, where she's, looking out the window before the fight in the hotel goes down. She's like, Walter, do you really think he'll kill all those men? They're just normal humans. And he goes, Sir Integra, I think you forget who Alucard really is from time to time.
Yeah.
He's going to deal with obstacles the way he deals with all obstacles. And it's like, oh, fuck.
I think the only person I felt bad about was the camera guy. Because, here's the thing, right? I don't think every single person that went in there, charging in there with their guns, guns blazing, were working with
Millennium.
Millennium. Only that one guy who was talking to the high level agents. So I probably should feel bad for them. I probably should, because I don't think they were all working.
No, it felt like they were just following orders, and it's like they have no idea what's going on in the background. They're just there for, even the guy who was from Millennium was like, oh, they serve their purpose. They waste, how many bullets do you have left? It's like, you sack of everlasting crap.
Right. But I felt really bad for the camera guy because, it is not his job to get fucking killed by a vampire.
No, that's true.
The other one,
neither is the police.
I hate to be that person.
But, whatever.
No, I hate to be that person. But, they work in, okay, their job is to, catch criminals, potentially kill criminals. I feel bad if they get killed, but it is in their job description. It's terrible, but it's in their job description. It's not in that fucking camera guy's job description.
Depending on what kind of journalist he was, it might have been.
He just was.
Let's be honest.
They weren't in a militarized war zone.
No, fair enough. But they're
in Brazil.
Talking about it. Well, the news, when you see it, Integra looking at it, they dubbed it a terrorist attack, I think it was, and that's how they justified all these, everything, sending everything in. So, in a way, it's
No. This is like if there was a terrorist attack, God forbid, in a major city, and some random news guy was there filming the scene. It doesn't make it a war zone immediately.
No, but there is the threat of you possibly getting hurt.
But it's not in your. I just don't think it's in your job description the same way they give policemen guns. That dude doesn't have a gun.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. You're holding, even if you had a gun, you're holding giant equipment.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that a police officer and a reporter have the same amount of
I know
danger in their job description.
I see what you're trying to point out, but depending on what the reporter is covering and what situation that they may find themselves in, yes, I believe that, that's going to be something they're going to have to deal with, whether it's in their job description or not.
Yeah, but this wasn't one of those situations. It wasn't supposed to be. It's supposed to be like, oh, man, there's a crazy thing going on here. Let's just go cover it. If they were in the hotel room, sir, how do you feel about being a terrorist? Be like, well, I think he's going to die.
Actually, I'm a vampire.
Going to die.
Wait, what? Oh, God! But because he was outside, he was outside away from all of the danger. Yeah.
But it gets brought to him, and I'm just like, that sucks.
Away from the danger is a strong word.
Yeah.
It's a strong phrase. I think there's at least
a
good mile or two radius around Alucard at all times that is considered.
They don't know that he's a vampire.
No, I know.
No, because a little bit. What I'm saying is this: like, if there was a guy in a police officer's uniform just walking around, strolling like a block away, like doop a doop a doop, oh no, gets killed by a vampire, I'd be like, dude, that fucking sucks. Like, he wasn't there with guns, like, you know, with all this riot gear, trying to kill, you know, what they thought was a terrorist. But like, because they were there, like, that's why I'm just like, versus like random camera guy. I'm like, I feel worse for random camera guy who's just chilling outside, doing his job, being camera.
I think
gets killed.
Probably the worst part of that scene for me was the guy
that they lost
left
the footage,
over.
right?
Oh.
I'm sorry. I make jokes because it stops me from crying.
I know. Okay.
No, wait. So it's not that they lost the footage, potentially. It's what happened.
The worst
guy
scene
that got
for
left
me
over
was the guy, not at the elevator, but I think it was before that, where Alucard walks up and he's like, you know, you're dogs, and you know, dogs can't stop a monster. Only a man can stop a monster.
Oh.
And he walks up to the
actually.
guy.
Yeah.
And he's just like, so, you know, soldier, what are you? Man? Dog? Monster? And he just shoots himself, and Alucard's like, are you fucking kidding me?
I thought he realized, like, I think it stopped him in a way. Not like humanized, but I think he was just like, oh, wait, this is not shit. Because I think in his head, he's just like, I don't give a fuck who you are. You're coming at me. You know what I am. You're Millennium or something like that. I'm going to get you, brah. And then the one dude shoots himself, and he's like, wait. Like, my take on it is he was just like, oh, you're not, or you're not as, because, like, I think he went after them thinking, oh, you're my enemy.
Right, you're the enemy.
You're human, but you're my enemy. Not like, oh, wait, you just, oh. Because, like, because in my head, right, if you're the enemy, like, you know, from Alucard's perspective, if you're like the enemy, like the ones that he's fought recently and he's fought, you know, years ago or whatever, you're going to put every last bullet into Alucard, not into yourself.
Right.
So I think, I don't know, maybe his anger was towards him. You're right. Maybe it was like, oh, how dare you not fight me. But it may also be like, oh, I thought,
Yeah, no,
like,
I can feel like it. I feel like it might have been a little bit of both. Like, you know, Alucard realizing, oh, yes, you are just a normal human, and maybe you don't know what you're getting into. But at the same point, it's like, but you are standing up, you know, you had the gall to come in here and stand up against me. It's like, you better stand up against me. Don't give me this.
Yes.
I think it just made him, well, in a way, more excited and more angry at Millennium, in a way. Like, how dare you send these people after me? It's like, if you're going to do this, come after me yourself, and let's do this already. None of this, let's drop the bullshit, basically.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was, I definitely have to say, though, that, like, it did suck that, like, Alucard kept on killing the police because, like, again, it arguably is not their fault if they really don't know what's going on.
I think that was supposed to be a point for the series. Like, Walter is saying that to Integra as much as he is the audience. Like, no, like, you guys are, you know, making him into a hero. It's like, no, let's not get this wrong. He's still, you know, Hellspawn. Like, let's not paint this any other way. He's still a vampire, and he will kill literally everything. Doesn't matter who it is.
And I have to say, it did suck that it was, you know, they had to kill those cops, especially the 6 cops at the end before he ends up fighting the card guy. But I have to say, though, despite the fact that I hated that, you know, 6 cops, like, died. I know it's fiction, but still, that they died. I have to say, though, that, like, visually that scene was stunning.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, him just standing there and the bat in the background, like the shadow, and the fact that, of course, it's been heavily implied. I mean, it was mentioned sort of, you know, it was more than implied, but still not beaten over the head completely at the end of the first Hellsing adaptation. But it was implied here as well, both in the first OVA, I think the first, and in this one, that he's clearly some kind of either reincarnation or mix or vampiric take on the actual person, Vlad the Impaler.
Right.
I mean, because the thing is, they called him, you know, because Vlad the Impaler was also known as, like, Dracula-ish, sort of.
Yes,
So like
that,
sort of.
I think that is where the legend comes from. Because he would drink the blood of his enemies, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And of course, he was called Vlad the Impaler. So the fact that he impaled those 6 officers, and the fact that, interestingly enough, when she calls him, Count, she's like, "Oh, Lord of the Vampires," or should I say Count? And it was just like, oh snap. Yeah, Integra said this. I was like, oh snap, we're implying.
Yeah.
Implications. I do wonder, though, what the implications are for the world, because I don't know, I don't remember anything in later OVAs about this, what it means when fucking random people in Brazil see what they saw in public.
Yeah.
Like, I believe there's like a media blackout on like 3 different ends, on both Millenniums, on Hellsings, and on, what is it? Hellsings and on, come on now. Who is the third? Who is Iscariot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Also, for any of the major players, you have, what's his name come in? I forgot his actual, it's an interesting name, but Yuri Lowenthal's character, let me see his actual name. It's a very strange name. Although I'm sorry if it's an actual French name, so I apologize. But no, because I realized, I'm like, wait, it might actually be a real name.
Right. Yeah.
It's, let me find just to make sure. It is, Pip Bernadotte.
Right.
I thought it was something different, so never mind, it's Pip. But who else is I want to see? Oh, right. Freaking the Major, voiced by Gildart Jackson. My God, I want to see Who Are You? Because he doesn't seem to have a Wikipedia page. Who are you, Gildart? Mm-hmm. And are you actually German? But my goodness, I don't know much about him.
Right.
He doesn't seem to have been in many.
He did put on quite the performance. And he does, later, like, his performance is stunning. It's horrifying, but it's stunning. Like, as an actor, it was a great performance. I'm sorry, he had to play Nazi Major, but...
He was additional voices. He was additional voices in both Star Wars The Old Republic and Star Wars The Old Republic Shadow of Revan. So, if you'd know anything about that at all.
Yeah, it's a multiplayer online RPG.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he's actually been in more live action things than it seems like he's been in he was in the Hellsing TV series as well. He was let's see. He's listed as Chris Pickman and Subordinate B. Oh man, moving up in the world. Oh, fuck him. Chris Pickman, I'm not like fuck the actor. Chris Pickman was that piece of shit that was a traitor.
Right.
In the first series. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving up in the world. You go from being a prick to a Nazi. Now you're a Nazi prick. I mean, he is. Would you argue against that sentiment? Would you argue against it?
I don't know how to react to that.
All right, as long as you don't argue against it. All right. So yeah, how do you feel about card wielding, bro? Because I feel like he wasn't really used. Like they didn't use him as much. I mean, again, there's not much to use him for. He just kind of like he was a weird mini sub boss because like he didn't have much time to be like evil and like against Alucard, because it was
It's funny. I think they kind of like each episode kind of pits Alucard against somebody who's a little bit more equipped to go up against him each time. Mm-hmm. So he's slowly revealing that, yes, I have a bit more power than I'm letting on.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it's weird.
This guy did not feel like he was equipped, though, to take him on. I think maybe because they didn't have enough time to show him being a badass. By the way, his name, by the way, is, I just want to add, Tubal Cain. So it's Tubal Cain Alhambra.
Right.
But yes, under the code name Dandy.
Yeah.
Dandy. Yes, so yes, so he
some people call
is Mr.
me the Dandy Man.
Yeah. There's a reason why Like, it's funny. Dandy, or as some refer to it as, I'm trying to think of the word, non-copyrighted Gambit. That's or just Gambit copy. Or totally not Gambit, but kind of. Not Gambit because he's not French.
Right.
Whatever you want to go with. Bootleg. There we go. Bootleg Gambit. That's another one.
Right.
I like him, though,
go.
but it's very hard for me to see people do card tricks because I grew up with Gambit. So it's very hard for me to see people like who use cards to their advantage.
Yeah.
I've known Gambit for so long.
I thought the cards were interesting. It's funny. I kind of felt the same way Alucard did. It's like, playing cards. That's interesting. I'm going to end you now. Wait, what? Oh, God, my arms! And I don't know, like, I don't want to say he was throwaway, but at the same time, it's like...
He felt like that, yeah.
I like the fact that Alucard just kind of wiped him up because I'm like, you're a scumbag. I don't want to see you anymore.
And that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Like, just you're dead. Yay.
Pretty much.
Yay.
I don't know. I feel like you need those characters sometimes. Like, they don't really contribute all that much. You just needed to see someone get it.
Right? But, no, I get it completely. That's what he had to get. It. So, yeah, I understand. So here we are. We're at the end of our episode, unless there's anything you really want to say before we wrap things up.
No, I think I'm good.
There's one thing I want to mention, actually, I just remembered, and please, I want to hear your take on it. The music in the show. How do you feel about the music?
I did when Alucard was fighting Alexander the first time. I did like the music during that, as it kind of picked up. Like,
right?
I guess it was violin. I'm not sure. I liked that it was instrumental in a way, and like classical instrumental, and not like.
Boom,
it's funny.
Boom,
usually,
boom,
I would say I like
boom.
hard rock kind of things for a soundtrack, but I like that this had a bit more of a classical tinge to it. I think it's more fitting.
Yes, much of the music, and I hate to say it, but much of the music felt out of place.
Oh.
And, like, it was just too synthesized. Not all of it, of course, but, like, a decent amount of it felt out of place to me. So I'm happy that you're right. That was a good track because it's not like it was all bad. It's like some of it felt like very much like boom, 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 blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, guys, cool. Just can we lower it? Can we lower this? Yeah. I don't know. Like, it felt too much like a Matrix movie or some kind of, like, action movie.
Right. I think the music really starts to pick up towards the later fights.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I really want to mention as well, by the way.
Right.
I'm sorry. Say finish your sentence.
No, it's fine.
The music actually being I just want to say that I actually love the fights. That's something I really enjoyed about this because again, the original show very minimal. They did have fights, but they definitely had them spread out really far.
Right. Where
here they're like, nah, bro. You got to have, Alucard has to kill this dude. Then in the next OVA, Alucard and fucking, everyone else.
We got to throw some budget at this.
It's because it's interesting because like the anime, arguably, the original anime had more time, but here, because of the fact that it's so condensed, in a way, they also have more time. It's weird. It's like they have more time because they have more time to play with compared to because everything had to be strained out to be 20 to 30 minute episodes. In a way, it felt like they didn't have any time.
Right.
Because everything had to be drawn out, and that means that it became an anime that didn't really have that many fights. And not that I'm saying that fights make an anime or make it better, but you look at the manga and it's what it's about, like Alucard and others going out to fight vampires and others. Right? Where the original anime adaptation was like, we're going to have that, but also a lot of talking. But also, because we can't reveal too much, it kind of feels like it's about nothing. And filler episodes. And you're like, cool, thanks, no problemo. And here it's just like, oh, we're going to have talking when we need to. But also, people getting fucking shot. And then, the parts that they got shot, those parts are getting shot. Like, the gunshot was shot. Like, literally, they just go nuts. And, like you said, over the top. And it's so good because that's, like, how the original manga was, very over the top. And not minimal whatsoever. So, it was very interesting. And I like these OVAs. I still admit, if you've seen the first anime, you should watch the first 2 OVAs because they do give you new information as well. You shouldn't skip them. But I can definitely say, without a shadow of a doubt, if you've seen the first anime, especially depending on how many times you may have seen it, this feels like it's just trudging over, like you're going over old information. So you may slip in and out of, like, not consciousness, but like paying attention.
Right.
Like, you may slip in and out if you've seen it enough, right?
Yeah.
Now, I know you haven't, so it was a bit more interesting for you. But yeah. But yeah, I think you can see where I'm coming from. Like, after seeing the first series a lot and these a lot, kind of like, all right, let me get to, like, you know, later ones. And then we get to the third, and it's, like, brand fucking new.
Right.
And it kind of, I don't know about you, but, like, it kind of gives me, like, a new take on Hellsing. Yeah. Because all you ever have is that first series. And then you see the first 2 OVAs, you're like, all right, you know, same thing again. Let's get to, you get to number 3, and you're like, oh, my God, this is new, right?
Right.
Like, I was not expecting any of, like, I'm sorry, I was not expecting Nazis. Like,
I mean,
like,
it's funny.
If you saw the first series, just the first one alone, would you expect Nazis?
Oh, okay. Well, I was just thinking of it as just as a series by itself. It's funny.
Well,
I guess
no.
I wouldn't have necessarily seen it coming, but when they said it, it's like, no, you're right. That makes perfect sense. Like I said earlier, it's like, who else do we get to be slaughtered by a giant monster vampire? Who other than Nazis? Like, oh. Yeah, you know what?
No, because the thing is that, like, well, because if they didn't have any other foreshadowing from the first 2 OVAs, it could be like a major corporation. It could be America. Like, it could be, like, not like America as a whole, but like an American corporation trying to go toe-to-toe. It could just be Iscariot. Because, like, it's so interesting. You introduce Iscariot, and you're like, oh, they're the enemy. They're the fated. No, they're just rivals. Your real enemies are Nazis.
Right. Yeah.
Work together, assholes.
Which they do,
well,
begrudgingly.
But
they do.
With a little bit of hesitancy, just a little bit.
A little bit.
They're like, I'll work together with the Judas priest. Oh, you're going on with it again, Alucard. All this bullshit. Like, just fucking having them. Oh, my God. I still want to know more about Anderson, though, because I know nothing of him other than, like, it seems as if he's been, like, there's some kind of, like, experiments that have been done to him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's a genetic... Yeah. Like, that's the only thing I know, too. But he's a genetic monstrosity. Like, even Integra says it to him. It's like, you're nothing more than a genetic monstrosity. You're not even a man either. And he's like, oh, you know, a wee price to pay, you know. I'm still the hand of God, and I'm still going to cut your head off. Oh. Well,
no. They mentioned it
Alucard,
in the first
anytime
series.
You're ready to regenerate.
Yeah. They mentioned it in the first series as well. Yeah. But it's interesting because there's some stuff that I do know from the manga, and I think they're going to mention it later, so I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. But it's very strange. Anyway, so love you guys. Thank you for watching as always. Thank you for listening as always. Unless you're watching this through our YouTube channel, those guys on the radio. But I'm sure you're listening, so through our Blog Talk Radio account, which is those guys on the radio, or maybe you're listening through our iTunes, which is, you looked up those guys and you found us on iTunes. Either way, thank you for listening to another Anna Saturday episode. I mentioned our merchandise earlier that you can get over at thoseguysonradio.tumblr.com/merchandise and our eBay, which is Those Guys Radio. You can go on there to find our T-shirts, and on our eBay you can even find poster designs drawn by Anthony Sananders, another podcaster of ours that we've had on, and Let's Player that we've had on to do some other Friday night movies, some other Anna Saturdays, and even TV Tuesdays. And also, when it comes to Let's Plays, he and I have played, we played Assassin's Creed, we've played Marvel Nemesis, Rise of the Imperfects, and he's actually coming back for Season 3 that we currently have going on right now every Saturday to play another game next month that I'm a little, mum's the word, just gonna hush up here, not gonna tell you what it is. However, what I do want to say is, Tristan's right here, so definitely go to our Let's Play channel on YouTube, Those Guys Play, because you can actually find Tristan and I currently playing Dragon Ball Z Budokai, right? Because you and I, Tristan, had Season 3, Episode 2 come out, and that's what we played. But we also continue games from there. So we continue the game into Those Guys Play Dragon Ball Z Budokai Episode 1, and boom, you can also see us playing the Frieza arc as well. So, yeah, and of course in the past, Tristan and I have played games that we've loved, games that we've hated, games that we've played. Just that's how we feel about them, just neutral. A lot of fun stuff. We also have Those Guys Play Luigi's Mansion that's coming up on the channel as well, where Tristan is stuck in a laptop. So he's not now. He's good now, but at the time it was pretty bad. So you get to watch it on YouTube for everyone. Tristan?
Yes.
Cool, he's good. It's like, is he dead?
I'm stuck in a laptop.
Is he undead?
Or wait. Or am I? No.
You're good
now.
now.
I was just getting my coffin ready, Matt. It's okay. I'm still
cool,
here.
Sorry. You're getting ready for bed because it's getting early. We're recording this late, so it's getting early. You have to. I can't say it's getting too late because you're good at night. Anyway, so yeah. So also, by the way, you can find our Patreon, which is TG Productions. You can go on our Patreon, donate any amount you guys want to help support us if you can. You can help support us do a lot of different things because currently we have our Blog Talk Radio account, which is X amount a month. It's disclosed on the actual Patreon, so you can help us out through there. You can also help us, to bring more Let's Plays to you guys. You can actually help us get you can help us get a capture card for the Nintendo 3DS that we have. You can also help us either get the Nintendo Wii U or with the capture card, or right, we have the Nintendo Switch coming out. So you guys could even help us get that, right? Because a lot of people have been asking us, are we going to do Switch stuff and things like that? And I mean, with your help, we can, right? But, of course, if you might be thinking, okay, so we donate to you, we're just getting you guys to play games. We like you guys playing games, but we want you guys to play specific games, right, or do specific podcasts, right? And we can do just that. Depending on what tier you donate to, we can actually do specific podcasts, be they certain episodes or movies or, specific topics like, top 5 DBZ songs or top 5 DBZ characters or something like that, or just top 5 anime characters in general. We can do shows specifically for you guys depending on what tier you donate to, and specific Let's Plays as well with specific hosts. We can play any game you want so long as you donate to a certain tier. Also, we can give you guys shout-outs. You can be sponsors for our episodes, be they Let's Plays or be they podcasts. So we can do a podcast. We can just say, hey, shout out to so-and-so, our sponsor for the episode, right? So any of that, can happen, right, depending on what tier you donate to. So go to our Patreon, TG Productions, and if you want to help us out and get something, something back as well, you can go. Right? And heck, depending on how much you donate to, you can even talk about getting a T-shirt from us too, Go to our email, thoseguystheradio@gmail.com, and we can negotiate that as well, right? Also, that's where you can send your fan and or hate mail. Yeah. It shows you care. Hate mail, it shows they care. They hate, but it's a feeling. Anyway, so thank you all. We love you guys, and we hope you take care. We hope you have a lovely night. So, see ya. Say goodnight, Tristan.
It's a lovely night for a walk.
God damn it, I knew he was going to fucking say that. The second I said night, I was like, God damn it, God fucking damn it. No, it is a lovely night.